Here I am in studio broadcasting from the military-occupied capital of the nation, Washington, D.C. I talk about being a Marine, having enlisted. I wasn't an officer, enlisted in the United States Marine Corps, having served for many years on active duty for a reason. It's not like a look at me, I'm a hero, I served. Blah. I'm not looking for people to tell me they're thankful for my service. I don't need that. I was paid. Not well, but I was paid while I was there. The reason I talk about it is to establish credibility about the things I talk about. Just like I'm not proud of having grown up a Christian nationalist, I talk about it because I hope that it conveys to the audience that this is somebody who has experienced this and has some understanding of the culture. The same goes for the military. While I'm proud of my military service, it's not for kudos that I talk about it. Right now, there is a hunt underway for members of the United States military who didn't adequately mourn the death of Charlie Kirk. The same military that is in place ostensibly to secure and protect our freedom of speech is having theirs assaulted by the Secretary of War, Pete Hegseth. The First Amendment of the United States Constitution, the First Amendment, not as though it's the most important, but it was front of mind when our framers penned the Constitution and the Bill of Rights. It is that Congress shall make no law respecting an establishment of religion or prohibiting the free exercise thereof or abridging the freedom of speech or of the press. Right? So why would this fundamental constitutional right be under threat from the same folks that Republicans want to beat the drum of support for? You gotta love the troops. You gotta support the troops. Except when they rightfully point, some of these people who are being hunted down right now for dismissal, for reprisal, for punishment, are people who have just shared quotes from Charlie Kirk. Apparently, it's such an indictment. His words in life were such an indictment that you can't even share them freely on social media while being a member of the military. This is from NBC News. Get a load of this. Pete Hegseth tells Pentagon staff to hunt for negative Charlie Kirk posts by service members. Several people have already been relieved of their jobs because of their posts on social media, defense officials told NBC News. Defense Secretary, he wants to be known as the Secretary of War now. Ooh, warrior ethos. Defense Secretary Pete Hegseth has told his staff to identify any members of the military who have mocked or condoned the assassination of conservative activist Charlie Kirk so that they can be punished, two defense officials told NBC News. Several service members have been relieved from their jobs because of such posts, the official said, adding that Hegseth's directive also pertains to others associated with the Defense Department. It's unclear exactly how many people have been disciplined. Now, you might say, well, yeah, freedom of speech doesn't mean freedom from consequence. And you would be correct if these people were in private sector jobs. When I just read from the First Amendment to you, it's Congress shall make no law. It is about the government punishing people for the content of their speech. The government. There is no law that people in the military cannot speak their mind. I mean, you can't speak ill of the commander-in-chief because it adds to bad order and discipline within the troops, unit cohesion and such. But Charlie Kirk wasn't the president of the United States. Charlie Kirk wasn't even a member of the Department of Defense. Never was. This steely-eyed warrior patriot had the opportunity to serve, had the opportunity to don his nation's uniform and serve, and chose not to. There is no article, no law that would suggest, that would compel the speech of military members not to share their opinion about the news, even if it was distasteful, the things they may have said. If they're not inciting violence, they have a right to speak. Hegseth and other senior Pentagon leaders posted messages on Twitter this week calling on the public to report any posts that could be interpreted as negative about Kirk or unsympathetic about his murder. Simply unsympathetic. If you're not sufficiently mournful, oh, Charlie Kirk, I feel so bad about Charlie Kirk, the racist, Christian nationalist bigot who ostensibly hated black people and women, non-Christians, Jews, Muslims. They need to be sufficiently mournful, says our white nationalist Secretary of War. Quote, we are tracking all of these very closely and will address immediately. Completely unacceptable, Hegseth wrote on Twitter Thursday. His post was in response to Pentagon spokesman Sean Parnell saying on Twitter, it is unacceptable for military personnel and Department of War civilians to celebrate or mock the assassination of a fellow American. These rules didn't seem to be quite put in place yet when military members had anything to say about the assassination of Democrat Melissa Hortman and her husband at the hands of a right-wing psychopath. Weird how it seems to be a weird double standard, does it not? I mean, maybe it's just me through my biased lens, but wouldn't the same rules apply? Perplexing, is it not? The Department of War has zero tolerance for it, Parnell added, using the secondary name for the Department of Defense. Many social media users have heeded the call, assisting Hegseth and the Pentagon in finding and flagging posts. Dozens of service members and civilian Pentagon employees have had their posts highlighted and collected under the hashtag revolutionaries in the ranks. Some of the posts in that collection don't necessarily condone or mock Kirk's murder, but have been viewed as unfavorable, including one that read, I don't give a shit about Charlie Kirk. One U.S. military officer said troops know they are not allowed to condone political violence, but being fired for criticizing a person, particularly a civilian who has no ties to the military, is extremely rare. Quote, we can't criticize the commander-in-chief, but I can't remember anyone ever telling me we can't say anything critical about a civilian like this. He was not in our chain of command or anything, the officer said. But yet here we are. Charlie Kirk is being given a hero's homecoming, his body, the corpse of Charlie Kirk being brought on Air Force Two with a military honor guard, including our dipshit Vice President of the United States, fellow United States Marine, J.D. Vance. Again, why the military honor? For a coward who had the chance to serve and did not. And he can't say, I was in college, because he dropped out of college and didn't complete college. He just didn't want to serve. Some would say he didn't have the courage, the mettle, because he, like many, many Republicans, was a patriot. False. Just for public consumption, he wants to act like he loves the country and loves the country's people. But he attacked them on a daily basis. The last words out of his mouth before he was tragically gunned down at the hands of a conservative gunman, a Groyper, a far-right adherent of Nick Fuentes, ostensibly, that's what we're learning now. The last words out of Charlie Kirk's mouth were about, what about black-on-black crime? What about black gang violence? And the Pentagon wants him celebrated. And if you don't sufficiently celebrate Charlie Kirk, you will be punished, drummed out of the military, possibly court-martialed. I don't know under what article of the Uniform Code of Military Justice, maybe Article 134, the general article, where they can just tack on a bunch of shit. But there is no crime here. There is absolutely no justification for this hunting of military members who don't shed the appropriate amount of tears for a racist, bigoted Christian nationalist in Charlie Kirk. I invite you to this conversation. We can have it in the comments below the video, wherever you're watching it. You can also call the voicemail line 714-576-4054. Of course, as always, you can email me daily@dollemore.com. Please consider supporting this work, this channel. Help me produce this content. You can do so on Facebook. You can do on Dollemore Daily. Go follow the Dollemore Daily on Facebook. We are rapidly trying to get to 10,000 and beyond followers there. We're just over 6,000. And with your help, the truth in this form can be spread on Facebook. You can also become a subscriber, like channel member thing there. You can also do it on YouTube by clicking the join button below the video, or the overarching better way to do it would be Patreon, patreon.com/IDoubtIt podcast. I love and appreciate you very much. I'd love to hear from you if you served or are serving. I'll see you next time. Be genuine. Take care of one another.